Welcome aboard. This video outlines the construction progress on the Yellow Creek Railroad during the year 2023. The plan for the train layout, and later the entire basement, was developed using any rail software. The indoor portion of the railroad includes a folded dog bone on the lower level, connected to a loop-to-loop climbing to an upper level. By the end of 2022, all indoor portions of the layout were complete or under construction. 99% of the indoor right-of-way was operational, and about 40% of the scenery had been completed. This is an overall look at the railroad in January of 2023 as viewed from the control panel monitors. The plan for 2023 is to complete a major portion of the remaining scenery. The first item on the agenda was to hide the gap between the benchwork and the bottom of the sky backdrop. To accomplish this, I installed hardboard panels painted with the same colors used on the mountains. Once the panels were installed, and the Burwood false front buildings replaced, I was happy with the result. I used tall trees to mask the corner of the room, and the edge of the mirror at yard's end. For scenic interest along the High Line, I was adding a stone arch bridge over a small ravine. I made the bridge, using the same technique I'd used for tunnel portals, burning groves into insulation board using a soldering iron. Layers of foam were stacked and glued to get the depth needed. Once finished, the bridge was glued to the sub-road bed. If you've ever traveled through Tennessee, you probably saw signs for Lookout Mountain. That gave me the idea to box in a lookout at the top of a mountain along the High Line. Using a small stepladder, you can pop your head or a camera up to look out from the top of the mountain. This should make for some great photos when the layout is done. Here, the plastering and base coat of paint is complete around Lookout Mountain. Continuing the plaster work above the High Line. I worked in stages, doing 6 to 8 feet at a time. Taking a break, I went back to the wood shop. Some Lego tables for the grandkids. A boat buddy for fishing in Canada. And bit boxes for the wife. Back at Hopkins, I started to wrap the next layer of scenery around the back corner of the layout. Wire, plaster, paint, repeat. The mill pond slides back into the corner several feet to provide access to this area. Or, you can even stand on it. This time around the room, I filled in the area between the High Line and the Valley Division. First, I install some supports for larger tree planting. Then drape a plastic drop cloth below the work area. Add some poultry fencing. And finally shop towels dipped in plaster. The creek bed is strong enough to walk on when necessary. Again, I tackled a 6 to 8 foot stretch at a time. Just having the area plastered and a base coat of paint applied makes a huge difference. So, it's time to get out and celebrate my progress. The largemouth bass are getting big in the pond. Caught my biggest walleye ever this year in Canada. Seems like every summer, my construction progress always slows to a crawl. Eventually I get back into the basement. Still working my way along the wall in stages. Later, I go back and add color to the rock, powdered grout for dirt, moss for vegetation, and miniature Christmas trees to complete the scenery. I needed another short bridge below the stone arch. Ended up buying one on eBay. For footings, I used more foam board like the tunnel portals. Plaster, then paint, then repeat. Add color, then moss, and finally trees. This is about as far as I got before the holidays. Here is a look at how the railroad changed during 2023. Scenery is slowly creeping its way around the room. That's all for now, folks. Thanks for stopping by.